We have the pleasure of having an out-of-town comedian coming to grace the stage right now. Out of LA, Mr. Trevor Harris!
How the fuck is everybody, man?
Yeah!
Right on. So I have cerebral palsy and like my genitals work. And I also have epilepsy. And I found out that tacos are a huge craving for me, so I'm glad that I'm here.
Best tacos.
Right? I know. Al Pastor, man. Let's talk about Al Pastor fucking tacos. After my most recent seizure, I asked my mom to go get some. And she was like, wait a minute, Trevor, aren't those really fucking hot? And I was like, yeah, but I'm looking for something that's as hot as my brain right now. And, if it's not my seizures, people will be walking up to me while I'm minding my own business, and they'll be like, hey, man, you kind of look like Jim Morrison to me. And I'll be like, well, I appreciate that, dude, but, I would look like him if he had a stroke. And I remember when I was in school, and most of my bullies were girls, and they'd walk up to me, and they'd be like, hey, Trev, is your cock paralyzed? I'd be like, no, would you like to try it sometime? They'd be like, actually, we only date guys that know how to tie their shoes. And then I got a little older and I started stand-up when I was like 19. And I remember actually my very first heckler. It was a woman and she was like, Trev, if you were a girl, you'd look like Merida. Like, dude, that is not an insult. Thank you. And then after that, I got off stage and there's this chick that, she came up to me and she just kept grabbing my dick, wondering if it worked. And I got an erection, so I guess so. And I'm pretty sure that that's what brought my seizures back a decade later, because I had my first one in a decade when the pandemic hit, and my doctor was like, Trev, what the fuck? Like, you were doing so well. And I was like, Kobe died. And he was like, well, fuck him. We are going to get you into monitoring. And of course, I didn't know about epilepsy monitoring, so like a good citizen, I went to Twitter for advice. Don't do that. And so I'm on there trying to connect with people. And they're like, yeah, you're going to be in there for an entire week. There's going to be an EEG. You're going to be all messy. You're going to do nothing but watch TV. And you're not going to get any fucking sleep. It's going to be really fun. I'm like, dude, that's what I've been doing all pandemic. It's totally fine. Nurses came in, to help me set up. And I was like, I'm under a vent. And she was like, yeah, that's because you told one of your doctors that wind is a seizure trigger. Oh, that's right, I did. Fuck me. I mean, don't, because I don't want you triggering anything. And then more nurses came in. They're like, hey, we're just going to take your vitals and everything and talk to you because you said talking was a seizure trigger as well. Like, yeah, some people are ecstatic about that. And so, first one came in, she's like, Trev, I actually had a patient just like you that was afraid to fuck any of his crushes because, well, he was afraid of his seizures. I was like, yeah, man, it's actually really hard to find a woman that would film it. Next guy comes in. He's like, Trevor, I just wanted to let you know that without God, we wouldn't be here. Dude, this is an epilepsy monitoring unit. We are screaming like, fuck, read the room. And then, I guess they had a break or something because my doctor came in. And he's like, Trev, I know you've been screaming like hell, but you remember me, right? I'm like, yeah, you look like the girl from The Grudge. And he's like, well, I actually want to keep you for an extra night because you had a seizure when you were laughing. Really? How does that work? Yikes. And then I got discharged, and my mom picked me up, and she was like, you know, your arms look like you took too much heroin. And I was like, well, you know how much I love morphine.
Yeah.
And then I got an email from my hospital about tips for better sleep. Like, fucking finally. Y'all have been great, man. I've been Trevor.
Thank you, guys. Give it up one more time for Trevor Harris, everybody.